My name is Abram Goldman Armstrong. I'm the founder of Cidar Riot. Basically started out about April of 2013, getting incorporated and starting the licensing process and remodeling my detached garage in Northeast Portland and turning it into a fully licensed food processing facility and licensed winery in the state of Oregon. It's kind of the typical homebrewer story. I have a lot of friends who are like, would drink my cider and say, hey, when are you going to start making this commercially so I can buy it? So kind of got poked and goaded along the way into, yeah, so far the reception has been fantastic. So something I think that we do differently at Cidar Riot as far as our approach to cider making is we really focus on dry ciders. So I really enjoy traditional dry English style ciders, and that's really where the inspiration and the basis of what we're all about comes from, is making a quality dry cider, something that's refreshing and quenching rather than something that's sweet and cloying. Some of our products are using just dessert fruit but using hops or other things like that, or we have a cider that uses tea to get those tannins that are necessary. But we really, that's the profile that we're shooting for is that of a traditional dry cider. They do take a lot longer to make because of the tannins. It's much more like a wine than some of the dessert fruit ciders. You can make those in 2 weeks or a month, something like that. Very quick turnaround time because you don't have to age them because there's not a whole lot going on tannin-wise. But that's why we add hops or tea or other things like that that are going to get us up into those nice, full mouthfeel and nice bit of tannin, just a slight astringency on the back of the palate. The market for cider is that we've really been done a disservice by the large commercial ciders in North America, and so people really don't know what a proper cider is like. In the U.S., we have this weird association of cider as this, kind of cloudy apple juice that's just, you press it and only drink it in the fall, right? So we have our work cut out in that way in terms of educating people about, no, cider is actually fermented apple juice, and it has this long, rich history in America. I mean, if you look at colonial times in the Massachusetts colony, people drank, each man, woman, and child drank 30 gallons of cider per year. I think the interesting thing is, Portland's kind of a pocket unto itself here in Oregon and in Cascadia in general. We just have really embraced the cider, just as we did craft beer, and you can see that our market is a lot stronger and more vibrant than in other parts of the U.S. And you're seeing a lot of places starting to get involved and really have their own domestic, cider cultures. But we are actually at the point where, for me, coming into it in 2014 and walking into a pub and saying, yeah, you want to put my cider on, they're like, yes, of course, we have a cider tap, we always rotate. Or, getting somebody to put in a second cider tap isn't such a stretch because they already have 3 or 4 IPAs on. Draft, I mean, we're in Portland. It's one of the it's the largest draft market in the country. It's a huge draft market, and everybody's like, well, sure, I'll throw that on tap because they're only committed for that 1 keg. They're not looking at it as shelf space and tying it up with something that could otherwise be making them more money. It's really easy to get draft placement. The bottle bottle placement is a little bit more difficult. Found that was definitely a harder sell than I thought it would be. The nice thing is that we have so many bottle shops which also they have taps as well, and that's been a good way for us to get in the door, is to be like, oh, we'll take a keg, and they'll put the keg on and see how it goes, and then they'll take a case. Or the way we look at it is basically try and sell the draft to support the bottle. If you're not taking our bottles and you're a bottle shop, we're probably not going to sell you a keg because we'd rather put that limited amount of draft with our bottled product that where people can taste it at the bar, buy a bottle to take home. That works the best for us because then you get a double sale, basically. You're getting the on-premise sale and the off-premise sale. Yeah, I found the off-premise is definitely a harder market to get into, especially as a small independent distributor. We're self-distributing every single drop of cider that we sell. we bring it right to the point of sale. To fund the project, went down several routes. Basically, just took some of my own money that I had, and then I ran a Kickstarter campaign to really help get the word out. It's really a very costly way to raise money. You end up paying all this money to Kickstarter. You pay all this money to Amazon Payments, who does the payments for processing the credit cards. And then you have to, repay people the gifts that you promised them for donating to your Kickstarter campaign, get those all manufactured and posted out, and then you have to actually pay personal income tax on, or your business has to pay income tax on it. But I didn't have the business bank account set up, so I actually got hit with a huge tax liability this year. So definitely, I would say Kickstarter is a great way to get the word out about your product. It's fantastic marketing. You've got a great, I've got like 250 people on an email list who are really literally invested in the company and want to see it do well. So I can send out email blasts to them about new products and things like that. Great from that standpoint. As far as raising money, it was a ton of work. It's basically spend the entire month on social media and out at events just promoting the hell out of your Kickstarter campaign. In the end, my Kickstarter campaign raised, like $20,000, and I probably saw, I would say 13 of that after the taxes and all the fees and the gifts came out of that. So it's definitely a very, very tough road to go as far as raising money. But the great thing about that was it also got the word out that I was doing this and got some other investors. This is our first year of production. We're just starting out in a 400 square foot garage, so pretty tiny quarters. So the hope, though, is that we can produce between 200 and 300 barrels this year. I don't really plan to extend the distribution much beyond the borders of Cascadia, just pretty much starting out in Oregon. We're going into British Columbia here in year 1, into Washington in year 2 or 3. So I think one of the things when you're starting a cidery or a brewery is, if you know people in the business, just bug them, get as much information from them as they're willing to give you. And I'm lucky to have a lot of friends who are brewers and cider makers, and it's pretty tough. You're learning a lot of new systems. For me, the whole accounting thing and learning QuickBooks it's been a challenge. It's good, but it's all part and parcel of it. And I think the thing is to just make sure you have a good support network of friends and family who are willing to help you out when you need it, because that's something that's definitely, I couldn't have done it without my friends and family to even just get the build out done. And then now that I'm in production, it's great to be able to call folks up and they want to help out and they're happy to come down and help make cider, because it is a fun thing, I mean, 16 hours a day, maybe it's not so fun at that 15th, 16th hour there, you're pretty tired out, but it is something I'm really passionate about. And yeah, just make sure you're passionate about it and committed to it, and know that you're not going to have much of a life outside of your business when you're starting out. So.